Yo guys, welcome back to another video. I'm Michigan Sports Talk, and in this one, I'm going to be talking about everything Jim Harbaugh and some Michigan football players said to the media during their press conferences ahead of the Indiana game. Also, what Harbaugh has to say on injuries and another season-ending injury for another Michigan football player. It's going to be all in this video, so if you guys are new around here, make sure you guys go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and leave a like on the video. And other than that, let's go ahead and get right into today's video. Alright, so we'll go ahead and start with Jim Harbaugh. One of the first things that was asked was about Mike Sainristil. Jim Harbaugh said Mike Sainristil has been very good. He also talked about how he is a good learner, and if he makes a mistake, he rarely makes that mistake again once it's addressed to him. He also made a good point on his coaching, and he stated, "Make a mistake once, shame on me. Make a mistake twice, shame on you." Pretty much meaning that the first time a player on his team makes a mistake, that's on him. That's on the coaches and himself for not coaching good enough. But the second time they make a mistake, the same mistake, it's shame on the player. He also was asked about Ayabi Okie and if he'll play more, and he said he'll play more and more each week. Touched up on obviously how he's still learning the playbook, and obviously he's a very good player. He talked about how good he played, especially at the end of the game. Obviously him and Mike Morris on that one drive was just incredible, getting pressure on the quarterback on every single snap. And we're going to have more on Ayabi Okie as he also talked to the media. We'll get into that later in this video. Jim Harbaugh also talked about Mike Morris. He said Mike Morris was getting everyone fired up at halftime, talking to the team, getting them all ready for the second half against Iowa. And he said it's one thing to talk the talk and another thing to walk the walk. And everybody laughed about that, but obviously what he means is it's one thing to talk to the team, get them hyped up, but it's another thing to go out there, back up your talk, and perform. And that's exactly what Mike Morris did in the second half against Iowa. And another thing on Mike Morris, might as well mention, on U of M radio, he said, "We are not even scratching the surface of what we can do." He said, "Once we start scratching that surface, I feel this will be the most dangerous defense in the country." Also on U of M radio, Harbaugh talking about the Iowa win, what they can improve on. He said, "No one is taking a deep, long bow or patting each other on the back." Talked about how there's still, obviously a lot to improve on for this team, and he said, "We are genuinely excited about that." Now on injuries, Harbaugh said Nikhai Hill-Green is working through it on U of M radio, and he again said that he's not discussing the health of his players, which obviously Michigan right now still has Nikhai Hill-Green, Cade McNamara, Eric all injured, and really no updates from Harbaugh himself. So that's everything Jim Harbaugh said. While we're talking about injuries, might as well talk about the senior special teams ace, Caden Colser, as he actually injured his knee late in the game in punt coverage against Iowa, and he is actually out for the season with an injury now. He had 8 tackles and a blocked punt on the season. He's obviously a very good special teams player, so it will suck losing him, but hopefully he gets better and he has a fast and speedy recovery. So that's the season-ending injury that I wanted to talk about. So the next thing we'll go ahead and get into is Blake Corum, what he had to say to the media and what was asked from the media to him. He was asked about his body, and I said it's ready for Indiana. Obviously had 59 carries the last 2 games, and has performed very, very well. In the Maryland game, he had 243 rushing yards, and then against Iowa, he had 133 rushing yards and a touchdown in that one. He also had 2 touchdowns in the Maryland game, so he's been playing very, very good. I also talked about how Donovan Edwards back. Great to have him back, he said, and I just said that his body feels great. One of the bigger things it's been talking about is his name being talked for Heisman. They asked him about that, how he feels about that, and he said it's cool, but I'm just focused on the team. And he actually quoted saying, "I'm trying to go back to the college football playoffs and win it all this year." So pretty big words from Blake Corum, as his focus is all on the team, all on the team success right now. You know, obviously his name should be in the talk for Heisman right now. He's been playing very, very good football, and but I like his attitude just towards team success right now. Then the other thing on Corum also talked about how Harbaugh told him in the media how he could probably play 2 games in one day if he wanted to, and you know, the media and Corum laughed about that, and Corum told Harbaugh that he agreed with him that he probably could play 2 games in one day. Just goes to show how much of a worker Blake Corum is. Dude has worked for everything, and he is a very, very good worker, and it's proving right now out on the field. Next thing we'll go ahead and talk about is Ayabi Okie. He spoke with the media, and boy, before we get into this one, this dude, his story, very inspirational, and he seems like a really, really good kid. Obviously had some things in the past with him. He's obviously learned his lesson though, and this is what he said to the media. First of all, he was asked about his journey and how he got to Michigan. He just talked about how he got there and how he listened to his grandma and graduated from his previous school. And then once he graduated, he just played the waiting game, tried to wait for Power 5 teams to offer him. And then finally Michigan offered him, and he transferred to Michigan, and he said that he knew Michigan was the right fit. He also asked about Michigan, how hard he's worked. He said this is a blue-collar team. What you see is what you get. You'll have to work for every snap, and he has certainly worked for every snap so far. I mean, just coming onto the team in August, only having a couple weeks to prepare for the first game, and he has already learned most of the playbook and is already making a difference out there on the field. Can't wait to see more and more of him each week this season. He also talked about Mazi Smith, and they asked him, you know, how great Mazi Smith is and how big of a leader he is. He said Mazi is a beast. He also explained how he takes away 2 defenders or 2 offensive linemen, which makes it much easier for himself and others to get to the quarterback. And I just said that he makes the job easier for everybody on the team. Then he also was asked, you know, about his lessons he's learned throughout his college life and college football life, and he said, "You live and you learn. Everything happens for a reason." He also said life is all about adversity and how you respond. So again, obviously Ayabi Okie has gone through a lot. He's made many mistakes, but you know, he has definitely learned from his mistake, and he said that he looks at those mistakes as lessons learned, and as, you know, anybody should throughout life. So other than that, that's pretty much everything I wanted to touch up on and share with you guys, as Jim Harbaugh and some Michigan players, Ayabi Okie and Blake Corum, talked to the media ahead of Indiana. Indiana 3-2 coming into this one. Michigan 5-0, ranked 4th in the country. Michigan has everything to lose as they go on the road. Indiana has nothing to lose, so should be another good Big Ten test. However, Michigan, I'm looking for a complete game from them in a shutout, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure you guys leave a like on it and subscribe to the channel for more. I greatly appreciate it. And other than that, we'll see you guys in the next video. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. Go Blue.